Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Well, Hop Butcher back up in this piece in the Furbs? In the form of. I put in the form of and made it a word, Furbs. Or maybe I'm trying to say this beer. In the form of Urbs in Horto. This is a Strato Mosaic Hop Double India Pale Ale coming at 7.5% alcohol by volume. It says in the back here, as Hop Butcher is wont to do, ripe tropical, dank berry, pink lemonade. Jets of Stylins up in this piece. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah. Anyway, this was canned 10/24. Today is 11, like 6 or 8 or something along those lines. So you did math. It says Karen is the queen of the planet. I'm excited to dive in this. I reviewed and posted 2 Hop Butcher reviews already. One was their minted, which was so freaking fun. And one was their poppy seed bun, which isn't necessarily my favorite Hop Butcher beer, so I'm curious. Because that's a very rare thing for to happen. So yes, dig on the artwork. There we go. As far as this goes, yeah, it's a little darker than what I expect. Very turbid. Very, very, very thick. I mean, I hold it like that. It looks light. But this is probably a little bit more accurate to what I'm seeing it as. Very milky. Almost like milkshake IPA. It kind of comes off a heavily oated kind of IPA. Super turbid. It's very hard to get any kind of light through that sucker. Off-white, south khaki colored head. And just this dense. It's not even butternut squash soup, man. This is like... My mother-in-law just made a pumpkin curry soup. That's what that looks like, pumpkin curry soup. Anyway, let's see if we get a nose. Yeah. Tropical fruit, pineapple jam. Actually, it's running the gamut. There's a big stone fruit here, but it's very much tropical fruit forward for me. There's definitely a citrus kind of pineapple thing rolling around. Stone fruit's what it's very much a fruit medley, a mango papaya kind of kiwi melon kind of amalgamation with all those other things being like a second and third fiddle. It has this nice sweetness to it that has me thinking it's going to come off with that touch of sweetness, but not being super sweet. So it has that kind of rounded edge that I assume or associate a lot with like a lactose kind of thing going on. I like this nose. It seems a little tempered. I mean, it's not a huge beer. It's 7% or 7.5, sorry. 7.5% alcohol by volume. But you're talking about something in the Strata Mosaic. It kind of makes sense. I think there is going to be a little bit of Tough Guy Muggin Mosaic in there, but then there's going to be a little bit of Strata, kind of like tropical fruity, kind of like, let's do our thing and be new school. Let's dive in. Cheers, all. It's tasty. It's quite tasty. That's kind of exactly what I wanted too. Let's put it this way. It's been a minute or so since I've had like a really, really good hazy, turbid, rich hazy. I do think this has a little bit of oxidation going on. I think that's why it has this little slight dip in coloration. But I don't think it's really affected the beer all that much. I could see it being much more vibrant than it is. But it's still really, really delicious. It has this nice, lush, full mouthfeel to it. It's not as turbid as you think it would be based off of the looks. You know, looking at it, like I said, pumpkin curry soup, it kind of looks like it's going to be this just goopy, kind of tumble out of the glass instead of pour kind of thing. It's not the case when you drink it. It actually has this, just stop short of being silky, but it has this really nice, lush kind of mouthfeel to it. And there is a bittering, too. So that's the cool part, is that we'll get to the sweet and the fruit and all that stuff at the end. But I think the bittering has to be here. It doesn't really balance out, or at least counterbalance. Because when I say counterbalance, it's definitely more sweet than bitter. But it helps counterbalance a bit of that sweetness off. It's green. It's green grassy. It's unkept lawny kind of green. Not hyper in your face, but I really do appreciate that green. Don't get it a ton. And when I get it in a really nice well-made beer like this, it really makes sense. Herbs and Horto, plants, green. See what I'm saying here? But when you get to the sweet side of things, there's a couple of very distinctful Hop Butchery things, which is, one, It pulls off that sweetness that is a la lactose with no lactose. They say there's no lactose. I'm not going to stop saying I think there is. There's none. That is a cool trick it pulls off. So it's a rounded edge sweetness. It's a confectionery sweetness without being too flat sweet. That berry thing they talk about. There's always a berry thing. There's not always, but more often than not, hot butcher beers, especially their hazies, more specifically their hazies, tend to carry these berry components that I think is very distinct to what they do. And then it is that tropical fruit stepping down to that more pineapple than citrus, but citrus pineapple combination with that stone fruit. But it very much is a slightly undersweetened kind of tropical thing that really rides the day in this beer. What do they say? Red tropical. Okay, that makes sense. Dankberry. Pink lemonade. I don't think I've ever gotten lemonade from beer. I've gotten lemons, but I get what they're going for. Gotta punch up those label descriptions. Anyway, this is fantastic. I think this is fantastic. I think this is exactly the kind of beer that I've grown to really dig and love about Hot Butcher, and that's what I expect. That's why that poppy seed bun was just something about it, man. It was just off. I mean, it wasn't a bunk can because I had two, and I waited a day or two, and I just drank the other one just to drink it. And I wasn't going to post that poppy seed if it was the same, but it was the same. And it comes right from the brewery. It was overnighted. You know, take that for what it's worth. But this is what I come to know and love. I'm going to get to the chase because I'm going to be like, what else I want to say about this beer? I think I got it all right. Mouthfeel's bomb. Beer is delicious. Has that cool kind of lactose-esque kind of thing that Hot Butcher pulls off without the lactose. Green component. Grassy, unkept lawn kind of green, which I really dig. And that tropical fruit leaning into the other stuff. A gamut, but it really lives in that tropical fruit realm. It's one of the better double IPAs that I've had. 7%. It's kind of flirting the edge double IPA, but that's, I think most people call that double IPA nowadays, or I would call it double IPA at least. Anyway, it's one of the better hazies I've had as well. Yes, Mount Rushmore status, definitely worthy. And this is where Hot Butcher gets weird. At least for me. I kind of put Hot Butcher up against their own beers because I've had so many of them. Is this Mount Rushmore 7 and 7.5%? Because they live, and that's like a big, the 7.5, 7, and then below that is a much different beer. It's not Mount Rushmore status for that because I think there's other ones that have done me much, much better. But you look at my reviews, I've done like 140 different Hot Butcher reviews, so I've had my fair share. It's very hard to crack that mountain, but it's worthy. Value and availability. Hopefully somebody says something. And leave you with if you like what you like to say. If you like hazies, man. If you like hazies, aren't a fan of a little bit of green, and you dig on Hot Butcher, I think this is gonna be one of your jams, yo. Hot Butcher. Have you been to the brewery? Have you been to their tap rooms? Because I think they have two now, right? I'm correct. They took over the little old Rabbit Cerveceria and then their own, which was half acres. Yeah. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer this time and other times, and more specifically this time? And what do you think? All that fun stuff down there. Reviewing the books. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Chicago haze right now. Hopefully I'm watching Chicago get beaten by Carolina, which is weird because they both suck. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, y'all.